Connected.
Man, I could so use it. I haven't had a carb in 3 freaking weeks. Um, no, I'm still doing promo stuff.
Is that the one that says no PvP? Okay, it looks like it's password protected, so yeah, it's grayed out for me. Oh crap. Never mind, it's not password protected. I'm an idiot. I installed it, I just didn't hit activate on my OVGME. I'm a fool.
I'm ready to hear you bang your head against the wall there, Particle, when you start getting the emails of, this thing is so awesome, but... Are we on camera? Oh, shit.
Oh,
I didn't know.
Dang it. I didn't know. I thought it was.
I thought it was
streaming.
just... I thought we were just on... Oh my god. Sorry. Maybe I should start singing a tune.
Let's just start humming the Top Gun theme. Okay, see. Where did I do that picture you just gave me?
Wait, are you on your Twitch, Particle? Oh.
Alright, Particle, we cleared in hot on the server.
That's not fair. That's not fair at all.
Sound muted.
busy for like the next week.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm on 249 on battery power though, so hopefully it's working.
I'm putting the stream up on the forums and Facebook.
Particle, I'm gonna go to the boat now. And here's something DCS 2.7 has been doing a lot of people's when you change roles, it sometimes crashes the sim. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Do you want us to fly out from the airbase? All right, let's. No, there isn't. Okay. As long as it doesn't crash anybody, I'll start off at the base. That's fine.
Nope, just realized that my microphone was off. Sorry about that. You were hearing one side of the conversation. Can you guys hear me now?
All right. One down.
Hello, stream. Can you hear me? Perfect. Okay. I'm not a normal streamer, so all this is new to me. So I have way too many windows open beyond DCS. So hopefully nothing will explode, but it probably will. So just bear with us. So I'll be streaming in VR. I'm Particle Man and kind of the head of the project. So hopefully I'll be able to answer a lot of your questions. I am going to be doing, like I said, in VR. So I don't have the chat projected into my headset. So I will try and look over
These
the
aren't hot
chat.
starts from the ramp. I'm having a problem. You're getting this thing motoring. I think one of my key switches went out.
Oh. All right, let's see if I can get in here. Grab the CAG. Swap it. There are some air starts as well, which might work for people just to keep them off the boat. There's a good handful of them. I don't think we're going to use all the jets in here today, but I figured I'd do that. All right, and we're using the DCS-1, the base DCS SRS server, not DCS-2. Okay, all right, chat. Let's see. Well, explode not with the aircraft, but explode with DCS in general. That's been the challenge so far. Okay, let's see if everything's working live. All right. Yeah, I think there's a delay in the chat, so that's fine. Like I said, not a streamer, so we'll make do. All right, once I know that you guys are actually seeing the jet.
Channel.
Yeah, we're here. I'm actually streaming right now, so we're good to go.
Okay, I'm having an issue starting this thing.
Okay, what's your issue?
Well, I'm not sure if like one of my keybinds is no longer working for the GTC for the starter. And what's it called in your
The GTS, gas turbine starter. Yeah, actually, I'm going to walk through the cold start right now for the stream if you guys are checking it out. So I'm sitting in the pit, cold and dark. You can see there's another 45 over there. But this is what you will get when you get into the jet for the first time in a cold and dark. This is the front office. So this is what you're going to see. I can't actually get into the back right now because I am in a multiplayer server, so that back seat can be occupied by an instructor. So right now, I just can't swap back there. So let me run through the cold start for you if everybody is ready. What we're going to do today is kind of walk through the jet, see where it's at, and, kind of give an update since, we've had some air show stuff, but that's been basically exterior stuff. But wanted to show you that the pit is here. It is a thing. It's pretty fleshed out. A lot of the extras aren't here yet, like down in the wells and stuff like that. But we've got the primary flight instruments and systems working in the jet, so there should be no reason why you couldn't do basic case one fast jet familiarization with this platform right now. It's pretty complete from what we've been working on for the past 2 years. So let's see here. All right, so let's start up the cold start. So first thing you're going to want to do is set your parking brake, which is over here by the hook, and it's clickable. So parking brake is on, and the next thing I want to do is turn on my battery switches, which over here are on my right. Bat 1, Bat 2, Gen. And we'll now get some indicators. You can hear the T-45 over there starting up. So we'll get some indicators on the front panel, telling us we've got a hide, reset, canopy, and a hide fail. Those are all normal. And what we want to do next is come over here and make sure, well, this is supposed to be in the off position, but I think I've got something mapped so that, basically was already in on. But that is our engine start switch. And what we want to do next is turn on our left MFD and bring up our engine page. And this will tell us our N2 RPM, and that gauges the next couple steps. So one of the things you want to do is you'll want to map the gas turbine starter, or the GTS, and that's used, the APU, essentially the gas turbine starter, that's going to basically allow the turbine to come online. So what we'll do here is, just so you see up here, it should be in systems, if I remember correctly. Nope. Where did we put it? So many things. Let me see if it's GTS. Nope, it's gas. So gas turbine starter button right here. And I mapped that to my Warthog, pinky red button on the throttle, just because that's technically where the gas turbine starter on the throttle really is. If you look over here, it's modeled on the front. It's not clickable right now, just because most people are going to map that anyway. So that's going to be the one thing you really need in here to map so that you can start the jet up. The finger lifts and the advance are clickable right here. You can see the finger lift, and that'll be step 2. So let's go through it here. So we've got the batteries and the gen on. We've got our engine in on mode. And what we're going to do is we're going to push and hold the GTS for 3 seconds. And we should see a light come on the right front panel. It says GTS. You see it down there. The little green light came on. And then what we're going to do is we're going to advance, if I can remember if it's a right click or not. There we go. And push and hold the start engine forward. And you'll start to hear the engine spool up. And you'll see your N2 RPM raise to 32. Once it's stabilized at 32 and it's reading over here on the analog gauge, what you're going to do is advance or click on the finger lift, and you're going to see and hear the jet spool up and stabilize at 55 N2, 55%. So we're watching the gauges. And there we go. The jet is started up. So there's a bunch of other checks, and that's a very quick and abridged way to start the jet up. And I am by no means an actual T-45 pilot. This has basically been kind of, told to me by people we have a big team of IPs, instructor pilots, and people who are helping us, kind of advising us on what we're doing here. So that's, in a nutshell, the quick startup process for the jet. You do a lot more checks if you were doing it for real, so you wouldn't mess anything up. But that's it in a nutshell to start the cold startup. A couple other things we probably should have done is turned on the anti-collision, the strobes, and we'll go to the exterior and confirm that those are on. You typically would want those when you're starting an engine up on an aircraft, but I forgot to do that because like I said. All right. Okay, next. So once the jet is started up, we'll bring our avionics and comms online. So we'll do 249. You have to activate the comm over here on the comm panel. And if you look in my upper left-hand corner, you can see the SRS is now connected to 249. And I'll do a radio check. Radio check 249.
555, Alex.
And we are in SRS. So we include in the we'll include in the module. There's a folder that says SRS script. So there's been a custom addition written into the SRS script for this jet, so it hooks in. It doesn't have real radios, but it will hook into the SRS system. So you could actually, if you're on the right frequencies, talk to other jets in the server, which is kind of cool, like you just heard. So I'm talking to that gentleman over there. Or somebody out at the boat or whatnot. So we've got that working, and we have COM 1. You can see right now, if I don't know if you can see that, but you can see it says that COM 1 is on 249. If I change it down here in the pit, let's go this way. You can see it changes the SRS up there. We'll go back up. And if I flip off the comm switch so the radio is not transmitting, you'll notice that the SRS is now off. So it's kind of cool that you can turn the comms on and off. And then over here, here's your backup comm 2. You can set that to a different freak, activate that here, and if you look up there, you actually have 259 tuned on comm 2. The other neat thing is we actually have intercoms working. So the intercom system in SRS, like the Tomcat or any other multi-crew jet, works in this aircraft from the front to the back. So if you had a buddy in the back right now or an instructor pilot, he could be talking you through procedures and maneuvers and keep it all in the aircraft, which is pretty cool. So we have all of that working, and so that'll be super helpful for training crews and kind of getting people up to speed so they have a little bit better understanding without all the chatter of the outside radios, because you can turn those off and just talk in the plane in the front, or the instructor back there can have the comm turned on so he can be listening to guard or whatever and not overwhelm the pilot in the front that's learning. So, okay, so we've got those set up. I'm going to drop COM 2 out. I don't need that. I don't have anybody in the back seat right now. We'll go into the back seat a little bit later and do a little bit of Q&A. It's going to be tough for me to fly and look at chat and not crash and do dumb things. So we'll basically be doing Q&A in a little bit. Okay, so let's go fly. Let's go fly out to the boat. So let me show you a few more systems that we have here. So the jet is stabilized. What we want to do is let's close the canopy. Let's reset our hide. So you can click on the canopy handle up here and the canopy will close. Good. And the next thing I do is, once I do that, I turn on my HUD, and here's our limited HUD. And what we will do is we will switch over to our ADI, and we will turn on our second MFD and bring over the HSI. And you actually can pre-program waypoints into the jet. I don't know if I put any in for this mission. Let's see. No, there's none here. So you actually can put, just in the mission editor, you can actually, pump in waypoints, and waypoints will show up in the HSI here. You can't program them on the fly right now. Could be something that we add later, depending on, how far we can take the jet and how far we want to go with it. But at this point, you can do pre-planned waypoints in the mission editor, and they will show up here. So let's set the TACAN so we can find our way to the boat. So over here on the TACAN panel, we will go to on. And if I remember correctly, we are 99. There we go. And we just have this, you're not going to switch to Yankee or X-ray.
401, south ramp, information India, taxi to 04 via Alpha, west departure.
All right, so he's clearing to go out to the boat. And what we're going to do is we got the TACAN programmed. We're going to box the TACAN. Now, we've got the TACAN Freak, but we probably won't pick it up until we're in the air. And so we'll keep that in mind, but we've at least got it programmed on the ground. We do have ILS in the plane. We do not have ICLS. There's no such thing on this aircraft. You do not do case 3s in this aircraft. It's only case 1s, marginal case 2s. An actual instructor pilot can correct me if I'm wrong, but I've been told there is no case 3 because there is no ICLS. There is ILS, so you can do land-based because they do fly this for that, but not boat stuff. Okay, so moving on, just trying to remember if I don't leave anything out. So our checklist, control augment, anti-skid, flaps, slats. Okay, flaps. Let's drop our flaps to half, and you can see them cycle there, and you can see them cycle here in the mirrors. The mirrors, we took a lot of time to get right, to get it as close to the real view as we had pictures, and so you can actually, check your flaps and slats with your mirror without having to look over your shoulder, which is kind of nice, and you can see the control surface is moving. You can see in the mirror as well, which is nice, and you can see our buddy taxiing in that direction right now. Okay, so I get distracted. It's all fun. So, okay, back to the checklist. All right, so trim. We want takeoff trim, which is down here in the left front of the panel. You can see that little tiny one. I'm moving the trim right now on my throttle or my stick to about 3 degrees. And you want to be about between 2 and 4 degrees. We found 3's, a good place to settle. And what else? We got canopy is closed, harnesses check, seat. We don't have the seat arm system, working right now. The ejection seat that's in here is placeholder. Like I said, we focused on the aircraft and figured we'd put our time in making it as clean and as accurate as we possibly could. And we'll get back to making a more accurate ejection seat and all that functionality soon. So that's about it. We just need to reset our hide pressure right here. And I think we are good to taxi and take off. So, I'm going to do one last thing. I am going to fly the bird that was made for me. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to switch over to my VX livery since I am part of the test squadron.
Request rearming.
And so this is my bird. This is the VX bird. This is typically an aircraft that is dedicated to testing systems first for the T-45 fleet, from what we understand. So this bird actually exists, all the liveries, and that's voice attack. These all are real liveries.
Roger, Lethal 401 with you passing 1100 west departure.
So these are all real liveries. There are no fictional liveries that will ship with the bird. So you can see here we've got quite a few.
Rearming complete.
I'll jump back in here and you can see we've got all the training squadrons, all the training wings have their line birds, and we usually have at least one CAG from there, possibly multiple CAGs. And so we've got Pensacola, we've got Kingsville, Meridian, are all here. So you can change, you can do whatever you want. Now you'll notice that in here I've got a painted on Bort number, that's because some of these CAG birds have Bort numbers that, or line numbers that are specific, and so you wouldn't want to change it to 234 when the plane always flies with 205. So technically for, housekeeping, I will change this to match whatever livery I'm flying. So when we get out to the carrier, it actually will see me as a 205 bird, but it's really not necessary on these. But the neat thing is, we've set it up so that if you're on line birds, you can pick whatever Buno or whatever line number you want. Like, let's say you like flying 117 or whatever, 010 or something like that. It will update the nose, it will update the flaps, it will update the tail number, and it will append after the 163 the actual number of the jet to the Buno. So every jet should look like it's unique, if you will, if you're not matching up numbers, which is kind of fun. So that's kind of cool. All right, let's go fly. All right, I'm not going to make all the radio calls because I'm a little nervous right now being streaming, and I'll screw something up anyway. So what I will do is we're going to head out to the boat, like I said. So we got the TACAN programmed. Let's run up a little power here, and we'll check our brakes. So we got right brake, good. Left brake, good. And both brakes, mains, good. All right, we've got high gain nose wheel steering. So we will come out to the line here. And we will kick it in and taxi out. All right. Okay, and let's see what else. I think we are good for right now. I'm just doing a quick scan to make sure I didn't miss anything. I'm sure I did, and people will point it out later. All right, let's get this rolling. So let's come about. All right, standing on the brakes, running it up to 80. Checking surfaces, good, good, good. Tail planes, free and clear, and here we go, brakes off. Power's coming in. And notice once we take off, we should start seeing, there we go, here's our AOA coming alive. And we'll rotate, here we go. And gear coming up. And flaps coming up. There we go. And we're airborne. Painless. And I'll mostly stay in the cockpit here because there's been a lot of footage of external shots of this plane, and I'm sure everybody wants to see the office, so we'll stay in here for a little bit. I may jump out here. F2. I've got voice attack running, so it should pick me up, but maybe not. But anyway, this is running 2.7, so those are the 2.7 clouds. But yeah, once we get a little bit of altitude here, I'm going to actually check the briefing and make sure that I didn't mess up. Yeah, TACAN's 99, so there we go. TACAN just popped up. You can see it in the HSI. It's going to calculate the time here once it gets a second. But it's telling me 62 miles heading of 213. So let's come left and go head out to the boat. Try and peek here. I'm just looking over at chat right now, which is why I'm looking this direction. Okay, we're back. All right, so coming left here. Keep the plane coordinated. And now we're getting a time on target calculation to the TACAN. It'll get a little bit more accurate once I stabilize. So 209 coming left. I mean, I'm flying this like a GA aircraft, so let's get some action in here. Alright, we'll call that good. You can see the TACAN hash is up there on the header tape in the HUD. Hopefully you can see that. So there's our TACAN, so we don't have to keep looking heads down and verifying, so that will track to our target. And let's get some altitude here. Some full power. And let me peek at chat one more time and see if there's any questions that are out there. Yeah, we have weapons. So while I'm going, obviously I don't have anything on the plane right now. I went clean, but we can do the bombs, the smoke bombs, the target practice bombs, and rockets. Even though they aren't used anymore in the training currently, we can still equip them. But over here in the menu, we can go to the stores page, and you can see on air to ground.
Commercial Lethal 401 descending out of 15,000 for 2,000. Mark Mother 030 for 27. Low stage 2.5.
All right, so we've got, bombs, gun, everything's safe. So we can simulate all of these things in the aircraft. But yeah, we've got quite a few little systems here. We've got the HUD over here repeated down into here. It's really good for the backseat instructor, so they can see, because they don't have an actual HUD up on the top of the panel cover, so they would need to have that repeated back in the back seat so they can evaluate what the student's doing. So we've got that in there. And let's see. All right. All right, so let's see what else. We've got a flight of 7 minutes. Let's push it up a little bit and get out there. But hopefully there'll be some aircraft out at the boat doing things. And then we'll show you how it traps and how it launches. And then I may jump in the back seat of another aircraft and do a little bit of Q&A. Looks like somebody's already jumping in there with some QA, so that's great. That's super helpful. So let's see here. I'm just looking around to chat to see if I'm missing anything. All right. Looks like I missed my heading a little bit. So yeah, it's a pretty nimble little aircraft. The flight model has been tuned based on the feedback of instructor pilots, students who are currently in the program, veterans who have flown the aircraft and gone through the entire training process for the aircraft and advanced on to fast jets or other aircraft that are available to Navy pilots, like E2s or C2s, similar aircraft, things like that, will go through this training and progress either to like a fast attack aircraft or something more in the turboprop area. But like I said, that's about the extent of my knowledge on that, because I have not been through that process. We just really enjoy the aircraft, and at VNAO we try and do things as close as we can get to what the Navy does to take its aviators through the process of training, so that you can actually fly things like the F-18 that's in DCS. So, we saw a need for a platform that wasn't there, because technically you wouldn't just jump into an F-18. You'd go through this process first and learn to fly this jet and get checked out on this aircraft, and then you would progress into the bigger platforms. So that's why we kind of undertook this module and wanted to bring it. So we've been flying it for about 2 years in some capacity. It's, you know, kind of really accelerated over the last year because it's been, you know, been getting very excited because we've been getting systems online. I've had a little more time to do a lot of the art for the aircraft and kind of, you know, get the rest of the things working in it that just weren't there. All right, so
Closer 1, CU12.
okay, we need to come right a little bit. We're about 4 minutes out. So what we'll do is I'm going to do a case one join, and I'm a little out of practice here, so I'm not going to be making any radio calls and whatnot. There are people you can hear much more adept at it than I am. But what we'll do is there's technically a cylinder that is anchored around the carrier, and that's position 1, if you imagine a cylinder going straight up. And what you do is when you're joining the pattern to land at a carrier, you're going to be basically given an angels, which is the altitude elevation plane that you need to join at 250 knots with your section. And you're going to basically orbit there until you are cleared down to step down through the cylinder, and then you will be allowed to commence. But most of this happens with zip lip. We're just basically, you know, people are kind of talking on the radios today because it's more interesting that way, and you kind of get a better sense of what's going on. So you join that stack, and then you will wait to be cleared down, and then at position 3. So the way that it works is, imagine that cylinder going counterclockwise. So the cylinder extends to the port side of the boat, which is the left side of the boat if it's steaming forward. So position 1 is right over the boat. Position 2 is forward and to the left of the bow. Position 3 is directly across from the ship if that cylinder carried around like a clock. And then position 4 is to the rear left of the boat, the stern. And then position 1 rejoins at 1. And you basically do that orbit, and you spiral down in 1,000 feet increments. And I can actually see the boat right off my nose here. So we are now, 15 miles out. We probably should start slowing down and start dropping some altitude, since we're up at, 19? We're at 9. And so we probably need to get down a little bit. Let's cage the HUD here. And it looks like...
So 1 established, post 1, Angels 2.
All right, so he is post 1, Angels 2, which means he's at position 1, 2,000 feet. So I need to not join at 2,000 feet if I know he's right off my nose, because that blinking green light out there in front of me, I don't know if you can see it on stream, that tells me that's the rear of the boat, the stern. So I know that the boat is steaming directly off my nose forward-ish. And I'm not sure what the BRC is, but I'm going to go with, let's do 255, enter, and box that right now. I don't know if that's accurate, but we'll use that for now. And what we'll do is keep dropping down our speed and keep bringing down our altitude. And since we are going to trap, we're going to need our hook down. So let's drop our hook. And technically, I would usually have a wingman in the section to tell me it's down, but I'll just do this. But, you know, the indicator gives me it down, so I'm going to assume it's down. Plus, we'd get a call when we hit paddles to check that. All right, so we are slowing down. No air brakes used yet. 4,000. We'll join at 3,250 knots. Coming up on the speed, coming up on the Angels. There's the boat. I'm looking for traffic, and I see him out there at my 11 o'clock. You can see him making an orbit, I think, there. He's coming up on position 4. At least somebody is at position 4 out there, that little speck. 2.7's actually made it a little bit easier to see people now, which is great. So, let's see. There's the boat. BRC looks a little bit off, so I'm going to drag it around here a little bit. We'll put that a little bit better. We're going to go with 215. That'll work better. Okay, so I got him right off my left, and we're coming up on our angels. We're a little slow, so let's trim out the aircraft. And we'll stay at Angels 3 here, and you want to join tangentially. Bleh, screwed that word up. And technically, I don't really want to be right on top of this guy. I'd want to be 180 degrees in the stack from him. So ATC probably would have told me to join at a different position, but you can see he's crossing right below me, and that's why we keep the 1,000-foot separation. I think what I'm going to do is, so you guys can look at the aircraft a little bit better, is I'm going to join on his wing. Hey, I'm going to come down and join on your wing, and we'll do a section commence.
Sounds good. I'm right below your 6 o'clock, Angels 2.
Copy. I'll hold this heading until you cross under me. Just go ahead and keep flying the stack, and I'll come down and join you.
Copy on your 9 low.
All right, so we're looking for him. I got him. All right, let's go get him. This is not how you join in the stack. You'd get you're getting a lot of trouble for doing what I'm doing right now. But what we'll do is, I just want you guys to be able to see the pit and see the plane. It's a little bit more interesting to do a break. That way he can break away from us, and it'll be a little bit more interesting. All right, let's get up here. Say speed. He should be 250.
Alright, clear to rejoin. You want to do one more lap and then commence, or you want to go on this one?
Yeah, let's do one more lap to settle in, so I can settle in. All right, so let's get up to him. He should be doing about 250, so this is where you got to master your energy and get the speed brakes ready. So I can already see his hook is down, so that's good. Just easing it in here. And I also don't want to creep into his blind spot here, which I'm doing. I'm doing a really terrible rejoin. This is not how you'd want to rejoin, because they really need to see you. But good thing is that the mirrors work, so he should probably have almost eyes on me right now. We'll get in here and settle down. Trim it out. Get in here. Two's in. All right, so there you go. So now we're rejoined on him. And so now I basically ignore, other than my peripheral vision, looking, out the front of the airplane to make sure there's nobody in front of me. I'm going to fly paint off of him and kind of just, he's going to lead us in now. So we're going to do one more lap. And now that we are in the stack and rejoined, we're position 4 going to 1, which is right over the boat. At position 3, which is directly across from the boat to the port side, that's where we'll do a commence. And what happens there is we'll drop the nose, we'll increase the power, and we'll typically get up to about 350 knots. And we want to hit 800 feet as we pass over the starboard side, the right side of the boat. And that's where we'll do our carrier brake. And I'm a little bit slow. Here we go. It's a little bit better. All right, so I'm flying the wing off of Matty right now, and he's one of our test pilots. So he's got quite a few hours in the seat of the 45, doing a lot of testing, a lot of the flight dynamics testing and systems testings for us. Our lead pilot is Bingo, who unfortunately is working right now, so real world stuff, but he's been heading up a lot of the testing and the test team to kind of again put the thing through its paces every time I send him a build, which has been recently daily, trying to gear up and get this thing out. So I think it's shaping up pretty well now, and I think we're all pretty comfortable with how it's feeling, so that's good. It's close. So coming around to position 2, and like I said, you know, I'm kind of focused on staying on his wing as best I can. And there's the boat back here, so we're at solid position 2, coming up on 3, and he'll call the commence here shortly. And that basically is we're going to level out, go out to about 7 miles DME from the boat, which you can see down here on the tack end. We're at 2.7 right now. You want to kind of run this stack at about 3 nautical miles. And I would answer questions right now, but if I look away, bad things will happen.
Position 3 commencing.
So he's commencing, so he should level out here in a second. Drop the nose and give me a little call on power. There we go. I'm going to fly a little bit loose just in case I do anything dumb here. He's dropping the nose, so I'm constantly trimming the aircraft. This airplane loves to be trimmed just like the Tomcat. It is not got an FCS like the 18. It is a much more Tomcat flying plane than the 18. So keep that in mind as you will constantly trimming it. You'll constantly be changing things on the aircraft. And here comes our turn. And there's 6 miles. Get a little power in there. He's pushing it up to 350, and we're aiming for 800. Now what we'll do is he's going to take this turnaround, and the boat's back there. What we're aiming for is rolling out on about 800 feet at about 350 knots, and when we hit 3 miles from the back of the boat, we will call initial, and that lets the air boss know and the crew that we are in for the break. I'm going to get a little tighter here. I don't get a lot of seat time, so I'm a little rusty. You can see the boat coming around there. So once we line up on BRC, we will roll out at that 800, 350. Because the pattern, if there were planes in the pattern, they're running at 600 feet. And we don't want to impede their flow down there, so we want to stay, you know, up at 800 feet here. But you're constantly compressing the stack down lower and lower until you get to the deck.
Closing 1 initial.
There's the initial call, which means we're 3 miles out. And like I said, I'm relying on him as the lead pilot to make all these calls, and I'm following him in. So what we'll do is we'll pass over the deck. He'll look over and make sure the deck is in a recovery state and make sure there's nothing fouled. And if it's clear, then we will break into the Case 1 recovery. And I'll try and not completely mess it up here. Here comes the kiss-off. All right, now I will wait about 10 to 12 seconds, flying 800, 350, before I do my brake, just to get some spacing so I don't crowd him. And there's my brake. And as soon as we make our brake, brakes are coming out, throttle is coming back. Once I hit 250, I drop the gear. There's my gear, drop full flaps. Bringing some power back in. Trimming the aircraft. Let's get my HUD in the center so I can trim for it. There's my E-bracket. And now what we're trying to do is now the AOA becomes important here. We're trying to get on speed at 600 feet at whatever our weight is. So depending on how much fuel you have and the configuration of the winds and, you know, lots of other factors. You see that yellow donut? That means I am where I need to be. So I'm a little bit, no, I'm not bad. So it looks like on speed for this aircraft at its current weight is about 125 knots. and 600 feet, and that's what we want. And so we're going to fly this pattern here. And you can see him right there. I will not make my turn until I am at about 30 to 45 degrees off of the... so I'm looking right there. I just passed paddles, which is the boat. So now I'm going to wait till that's about 30 degrees. And that should give me timing where he's at my 9 o'clock. So when I make my turn, I shouldn't crowd him.
Ball 2.0.
And here comes our turn. So I need a little power in, because when you drop the wing, you're going to lose a little bit of lift. And I got low, so I need to get some power in to get back up, because I'm low. And we should be in a pretty good spacing right now to not crowd him, so that if he traps, that there'll be enough time for the crew to clear his aircraft and there'll be a green deck. So even though I am a little low right now on my AOA, I'm not going to worry about it, because I know I was on speed before the turn. So the important thing is to stay on top of it here and just keep easing the power down around the corner. And it looks like he boltered. So he's back up into the pattern. And we cut that corner a little. So we're going to go around here. I think I'm 205. And I'm low. I'm very, very low. This is terrible. 205 Gauss Hawk ball. All right, there's my lineup. Keeping that on speed. Working it down. Working it down. Working it down. Overshooting a little bit. Working it down, and as soon as you hit the deck, you want full brakes in. And there's our trap. All right, so we don't get proper communications on the first pass, but now that the plane is registered with the boat, we should now be on the boat's code, and all subsequent passes should get the supercarrier grade. And this is the supercarrier, so we just trapped on the supercarrier, just so you're aware. So what I was saying there at the end was, the moment you touch down, you go to full power and speed brakes are immediately brought in on this aircraft. The landing configuration for this plane is full speed brakes, full flaps, to make it as stable as possible. And you're going to get your RPMs up so that you've got enough power that if you were to bolter, you have enough power to recover. So what's really cool about this is there's a couple things that I didn't know about when we started this project, which were, there's actually a flight idle in this plane. There's two idles in this plane. There's a ground idle, which you can see down here is at about 55. I'm moving, so I've got some RPM in. Once I park here, I'll explain it a little bit more as we watch him come in for a pass. And then we'll launch and do one more recovery, and then I'll do some...
401 Gauss Hawk ball 1.9.
All right, so there's our parking brake. Let's watch him come in, and then I'll explain a couple more nuances of this aircraft that you have to pay attention to when you're landing. And there's a 3-wire. Boom. So one of the things that is built into this aircraft, and again, you know, a real IP could correct me here, but what we've been told is when the aircraft is non-weight on wheels, meaning it's in the air, it adjusts its idle to 70%, so it can't go below 70% RPM. And the reason is because before they added that feature, students were pulling too much power out, and it takes a little bit of time for this engine to gain enough momentum and enough power to recover the aircraft, and they were having issues where students were having very close calls with the back of the boat, and they even lost a few. So what they did is they instituted a what they call a flight idle. So when you're in the air, you cannot move this throttle below 70% unless you raise the finger lifts and do it manually. But technically you wouldn't want to do that because it's for your own safety. Notice on the ground here that we're at about 55 and 2. So we have to make sure that, you know, as we touch down, we are moving that throttle just a little bit to reset that weight on wheels threshold for the flight idle, because we've had a couple pilots who land and are already kind of, now we made some adjustments recently, so you carry a little bit more power in the throttle, so it doesn't happen as often now. But we had pilots who couldn't stop the jet landing on airfields, and they couldn't figure out why. They had anti-skid on, they were standing on the brakes, their throttle was at idle, but what was actually happening is the finger lifts were gating them the flight idle, and so they thought that they were at the normal 55 ground idle, but they were at the flight idle of 70%, and so they couldn't slow down, and we had a few overruns by a few pilots. So just keep that in mind with the aircraft. Is if you can't stop, just you bring the throttle forward slightly and back, and it will click the flight idle gate, and you'll be able to slow down. So just be really aware of that if you're going to start, you know, when you guys get flying this jet, that exists. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to go take off and show you how the CAT process works, the CAT launch process works, and then we're going to go jump in his back seat and show you the multi-crew stuff, because I think there's a lot of people here that probably want to know what that's about. So let's go taxi over here, and hopefully the super carrier will be working and it will actually hook me up, because we've had some issues where recently with 2.7 jets are not being able to hook up. So there are some anomalies, and not with just this jet, but all jets in DCS. I'm probably sure you guys are aware of it. So we're going to request a launch just to make sure we're on the board, and we'll come up to Cat 1 here and show you how this works. And look, he's directing me, and there we go. Let's straighten it out. So I'm getting directed in just like any other official module in DCS. Our lead coder, Nibby Lot, has done amazing work getting this stuff all figured out, which has been awesome. And now we're going to drop our launch bar. And we'll go to F2, and I'll show you how this works. So the launch bar, you know, just like any other jet, connects up, and there you go. Now this is a little quirk, and I want to highlight this because I don't want people to think that something's busted. So because this is a non-SDK aircraft, we don't have the code notifications, or haven't figured out at this point how to tell the jet that, or the supercarrier to allow it to kind of taxi up under, like, you know, this creeping power here. So I want to show you what happens. So at this normal power,
Bring ground for the initial again, and had a key binding drop out on me.
sounds good. So right now I'm now throttling up, and you'll notice it's creeping really slow. This is due to the fact, we think, because this is a very underpowered aircraft compared to an F-18 or an F-14, and a weight, it doesn't know what is really hooked up to the CAT. So you can see I'm increasing power more and more, and it takes a little bit to get there. Now you can actually run up and kind of jam the aircraft into the shuttle, and it doesn't hurt anything if you want to get over this, but eventually you'll see there it does hook. Power down, and it actually will get. There we go. We're actually hooked into the CAT. There's no hacks here. This is a legit CAT launch. So we are now hooked in. The crew knows it. We are going to raise our launch bar. We are going to check our flaps at half flaps. We are going to reset our trim, and our trim's a little bit high. So if we were to launch with this, we'd basically rocket up. So what we want to do is we want to bring this down to about 3, like we said, 3.5, 4. We're going to just do a quick scan and make sure nothing else needs to be reset. No flags, no issues. And we are good to go. And now I'm looking to find out where he is in the pattern, because I don't remember what he said. But what we're going to do is, even if he was coming in right now, I'd have an air boss telling me if I could launch or not. So we can... There, he's at initial. Okay, so he's going to break overhead. So if he's at initial, I'm going to wait, because I don't want to cut him off, because he's coming in at 350 knots. I could potentially launch here at 130 knots and he could collide with me. So we're going to wait to look over our shoulder here and probably in about 20 to 30 seconds see him come over the top and break into the pattern. Then we'll be clear to launch. Even though this guy is telling me to run up right now, he really shouldn't be.
Yo.
What's up?
Hey,
We're streaming right now. Hold on, creature. Hold,
I'll
creature.
be back in about a half hour if you guys need anything. How's it going? Good? I saw
Hold,
something on
creature.
stream.
It's going well. I don't know if we'll be here in a half hour, but
So there's the break?
I don't know if we'll still be streaming, but he's still got a lot to show. So
All right, so there we
Okay,
go.
yeah, the little bit I caught looked great. I even saw
All right.
Maddie's trap.
All right, here we go. So we're clear.
Yep, 3 wire.
So here we go,
yeah, it's a big hit
and
in
we're
the
gonna
chat. I
launch.
don't know if you're looking.
I did. Yeah, and it's got like, it had like 75 when I was on.
Just remember, you guys are live on stream.
All right, sorry, I can't be around. I got late dinner for the kids. But I'll be back.
And there's our launch. Okay. So we're off. So there's our launch. It launches a lot slower than any other aircraft. So keep that in mind. It's not a rocket ship. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here to, we'll go out to 1 mile. And once we hit 1 mile, we'll hit our 600 feet, pattern altitude here, easing off, pitch power trim. And pull some... And there's our 1, and we'll turn into the pattern. He should be probably on base. Yeah, see him back there? He's on base to final right now. So we'll come around here 600 feet, and we'll start configuring the aircraft for traps. So let's take the hook and drop the hook. All right. And let's come around here.
401 Goshawk Ball 1.5.
All right, you can see him over there. He's in the groove. So we'll bring our speed brakes out. We'll drop to our second notch of flaps. And we'll get ourselves on speed before we make our base to final turn. And we're low. All right, looks like he trapped. So that's good. So we're going to make this pass, and if we trap, great. If not, I'm going to jump out of the aircraft and jump in your back seat, Maddie.
Okay, sounds good. I'll wait.
Go ahead and get up in the air. It's cool. I'll join you up there.
Okay, copy.
Make sure you check your fuel. All right, so I am low. All right, let's bring this around. Let's see if I can ease this thing up a little bit. I'm definitely behind the plane right now. Need to be focusing a little bit more on flying. All right, let's do a last check. Hook's down. Flaps are down. Brakes are out. Gear is down. All right, we're good to go. Yeah, let's start working it down now. Now we can bring it down. Okay. Keep bringing it around, and I, again, did another horrible pass here. .205 Goshawk Ball 1.5. All right, we'll work it down here. Try and get on speed. Not too terrible recovery. We're a little left for lineup, so let's correct it. Get a little bit of nose down trim. We're flying up through the glide slope right now. Don't settle. Don't settle. Brakes in, and we bolted. All right, so my brakes are already in before I leave the end of the runway recovery area. And I'm back for doing another pass. All right, so what we're going to do now is, even though I screwed that up, I'm going to jump out of the aircraft and jump into, I'm going to jump into Maddie's aircraft. All right, so back to spectators. And the nice thing about this is there's a couple different features where, as an instructor, I think I should be able to, because I see I joined there, I should be able to just click on that, and I should be able to, without him giving me permission, the way that these are set up, I can get into the aircraft. And now I'm in the back seat. All right, I'm in the seat. And he can't hear me now because my SRS isn't hooked up. Notice up there that my freaks are off. So what I need to do is immediately turn on my comms 1, and we can do our intercom radio check.
Let him clear on me.
5x5. You are talking. So I talked to you on the intercom, and you replied on comm 1, just so you know. But it's all cool because we can hear each other.
Okay, copy. I don't think I have my intercom bound yet. Sorry about that.
No worries. So you can see we were just talking. I talked to him. Look, you can see I'm keying the intercom. So technically I'd be talking pit to pit right now with him, but he doesn't have it mapped like you heard. So he replied to me on 249. But the neat thing is
Good news is I can hear you, but I haven't done anything for the transmit of it. But that is a good feature.
copy that. So yeah, see, he can hear me, but he can't talk back. So so that's just showing that SRS is working. Okay, let's look at the rear office here. So you'll notice a couple things are different. The right panel is missing the IFF and a lot of light switches. Technically, you don't fly this aircraft single pilot from the rear seat, which is why there's a lot of abridged instrumentation back here. A couple things I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up my ADI, and I'm going to put my HUD repeater over here so I can see what he's doing with the aircraft. And we can set our own base recovery course back here so that we can have different data than he has up there. If he's a student pilot and doesn't know what he's doing, I can kind of get the information I need to guide him for the maneuver and recovery. But you'll notice that I have functioning MFDs back here, just like I would in the front. We've got a functioning COM 1, we've got a functioning backup COM 2 that we can change and we can activate. Whoops. Activate. And you'll notice I've got 2 radios for talkie up there as well as intercom. So that works great. The one thing that is going to fall short, sadly, with this mod is...
And Particle, just let me know what you'd like us to do.
Copy that. I'm just walking them through the pit back here. So you could do some aero or something like that. Basically, don't get too crazy, though, because I don't want to make anybody sick.
You got it.
So what we're going to do here in a second is I'm going to show you how I can take control of the aircraft and fly it from back here, which you totally can do. So because I'm the instructor, at any moment I can override his controls and take the aircraft if he's doing something unsafe or I want to demonstrate something, and then I can hand it back to him, which is kind of cool. Actually, could you do me a favor and dirty the aircraft up and show him the feedback that happens back here? So what he's going to do is he's going to...
Okay, copy. Speed brakes are out. So I'm going to go flaps full here at 210 in gear.
So what he's doing is he's putting the aircraft in a landing configuration. Now, notice none of my instruments that I can interact with, the gear handle, the hook, the speed brakes, the throttle, the stick, are synchronized with his right now. And that's one thing that's unfortunate about this. But notice you just saw the AOA pop on. I'm also hearing the gear cycle a little bit.
Full 30 right now. Hook, gear, flaps, and speed brake.
Copy that. Just go ahead and do some slow flight for just a second here. I'm gonna walk them through the procedure for synchronizing front to back. So what we have come up with as a good solution is a verbal communication verification of what systems are in what state until we can at least solve the code issue, possibly without the SDK, come up with some solution to actually synchronize these systems. So I don't know if you can hear the audio, but you can hear the gear continually cycling because it's confused right now, and I'll show you what's going on. So if I go to F2 and look at the external, notice that the plane is completely dirtied up right now. But if I look in here, notice that my gear handle is up, my hook is up, my flaps are half, and that is showing there. And my speed brakes are in. So what I want to do, so that if I were to take control right now and our systems were out of sync as they are right now, the plane would go wildly out of control, and it would be kind of a bucking bronco because the plane is configured differently than it is. I have different throttle, all that stuff. So what I can do here though is I can go in there, and knowing that he's full dirty, I can go ahead and extend my brakes. I can drop the hook. Oops, not the brake. Come on. I can drop the flaps to full. I can drop the gear. And I can pull the power back to what I think. He can tell me verbally what his power setting is. And now you heard the gear stop cycling, because now the plane is configured front to back symmetrically. So if I were to grab control right now, other than the power setting and possibly the trim of the aircraft, there shouldn't be a significant change in how the plane flies. All right, stand by. I'm going to take control.
Copy.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the J key, or you can map this to anything.
Let me know when you're ready.
All right, taking control. I have the aircraft.
You have the aircraft.
And you can see it says I have control, and now I need to get some power in there, and now he is hands off and I have the aircraft. So what I can do now is I can retrim the aircraft. You notice the nose dipped because he had a lot of nose up trim in there to trim for on speed. So what I can do is if I know that he trimmed, were you trimmed for on speed?
That was, yes.
Copy that. So knowing that he was trimmed for on speed, what I'm trying to do is get the plane back to that configuration. Okay, so let's get some power in there. Get some nose up. There it is. And so now I know that I'm pretty much in the same ballpark because I'm trimmed for on speed that he was at. Configurations are the same. So now if I were to hand the plane back to him, the plane shouldn't buck as much because we're in the same configuration. So it's one drawback, unfortunately, to having a mod and not an official aircraft, but this is as close as we've been able to get right now to getting everything in sync. But you'll notice that I'm flying the aircraft. All right, I'm going to clean the aircraft up. So I'm going to bring in the speed brakes, get some power in there. We're going to bring the flaps up. We're going to bring the gear up. Bring the hook up. Okay, the aircraft is clean. And now I can demo some maneuvers here if I wanted to, where we could do a roll. I'm just going to do a little roll here. And, you know, he's in the front for the ride right now. And we'll go up. And we'll do something we shouldn't do, is roll it right into the clouds. And there's our roll. And so that's kind of where we're at with the multi-crew sync. You know, I'm in the back of someone else's aircraft. I can give him back the aircraft right now, and he can continue doing his flight as he was. And yeah, that's where we're at right now. All right, go ahead and I'm going to give you back the aircraft. You ready?
All set.
You have the aircraft.
All right, I have the aircraft.
Let's go do a trap, and I'll show him what it looks like from the back seat. And I'm going to take some questions. So it's your aircraft. I'm not going to take it back from you.
Copy.
All right, so I'm going to peek a little bit. So my visor's going to get a little bit off because I'm going to peek at questions and see. I see that somebody else has been answering stuff, so that's awesome. So yes, it does not require. Okay, in question 2, standalone. This is got its own EFM flight model, So it's got its own code and everything. So when the mod is available, you will be able to download it, drop it in your user files, mods, aircraft, and drop it in a mission and go fly it. That is all you need. You can literally download DCS, a fresh install, grab this mod, and immediately go fly around DCS. You won't be able to land on the supercarrier if you don't own the supercarrier, but you will be able to do all the things that we've shown you today with the aircraft without anything else required. So that's pretty cool. All right, what else? Yeah, you can map that J to anything on your HOTAS as well. So everything is, I think most everything now is mappable in the cockpit. So, you know, we'll be doing updates and things like that when we can. And if there's, you know, things that change in patches, we'll do our best to kind of, you know, fix things as quickly as possible. But this is kind of where we're at right now with the aircraft. And yeah. Any other questions? That it looks like you guys have been getting them answered, so that's pretty cool. So it doesn't have the GPS. So maybe down the road we'll have access to be able to do stuff like that, but let me just show you. So let's go through a couple of these systems. So I'm not going to go through the bombing right now just because, you know, I don't have bombs on the aircraft and I don't want to go rearm and do all that stuff right now. But we can drop bombs, we can shoot rockets. And in here, you've got the HUD, the HSI. There is, unfortunately, we don't have some of the data working in the plane for GPS. Basically, it's just a placeholder at this point. Sadly, we didn't focus on that. Like I said, we have waypoints working so that you can pre-program them in the mission and kind of do basic navigation. But all the GPS stuff we have not addressed yet. So that's kind of something to be discussed, and we'll see where we get in the future. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know. We've reached out to a couple of people. We've, you know, we were very honored to be featured by the MVP guys with the last air show. We'll be hopefully flying in the carrier air show here once it's rescheduled. I can't remember if they set a new date for it, but I imagine they probably will put a few of these on there. Hopefully, depending on, you know, where we get that. Here we go. And here comes the break. Let's look our HUD real quick. So I can see what he's doing. He's on speed and on his altitude, and there's his brake. And so as an instructor, I can sit back here and I can evaluate his maneuver performance here from the back seat, which is pretty dang cool. Now, like I said, now I know he's dirtying the aircraft up, so I'm going to mirror what he's doing right now, just so I've got the plane configured. Even though I'm not taking control, I know all the things that he should be doing right now, so I'm going to make sure that I'm doing that as well. And he's trimming for on speed, and I can see he's on speed there and in the HUD, which is pretty cool. And we'll check the outside to make sure, yep, he's fully configured. Cheat. This is a mod. Yes, it can. It can be launched from a carrier. We are going to land on that super carrier over there, and this plane has already done 3 traps and 2 launches. So it absolutely can launch from the carrier. All right, so who's excited for this? I know everybody's been chomping to get their hands on it. It's not rough. Just getting over the shuttle's rough. It's no rougher than any other aircraft in DCS. It's looking good. A little high. Slightly fast for the fuel he's got. He's a little... No, he's all right. There we go. I'm guessing that was a 4-wire. I can't tell. I don't have the feedback here, but now I know he's cleaning up the aircraft, so I'm going to bring the hook up, bring the flaps in, speed brake in, and let's see if I can show you one of the bugs. Maybe it's going to be there, maybe it's not. Okay, so right now you'll notice that he has gear out on this aircraft, and this is going to be one quirk that I want to point out because you're going to go, what the heck is going on? This is another sync bug, and I want everyone to be aware of this, is I'm going to... Maddie, do you remember, should I wait to get out before you hook up? Or after you hook up?
Yeah, I think you either wait till I launch or you can get out now before I hook up.
I'll wait till you launch. So,
Okay, copy.
if I was to get out right now, the plane gets in a weird state configuration wise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait. See, right now there's a few bugs here that with multi-degree, like, see, he's got the holdback bar on there, but I can't see it for some reason. So I'm going to do this. Yeah, I can't see it for some reason. And so this is another kind of quirk of the interaction with the Super Carrier. But you'll see right now, to the guy who questioned, it's janky, I mean, there's nothing really janky about this right now. I mean, this is exactly what you do in a Tomcat. He's running the engines up. He's checking his surfaces. He just saluted. And it's the exact same procedure that any other module in DCS that is carrier-based does. There you go. All right, I'm stepping out of the aircraft. Thank you.
Clear.
All right. And that is that. And he's going to go around and trap. So, we'll go back here and get a little quiet. All right, so... we're all excited. Okay. Well, here's the good news. The good news is the plane is ready. And the good news is in about whenever we decide, we're going to post links and you guys can all go grab the mod and start flying it right now. Let's see how long it takes for everybody to go kind of nuts. I think we've held off long enough. I think it's time for you guys to play it and crash it. There are no crew bodies right now. It's something that will be added. You've got them on the external. So if I go over to his jet, you can see him looking around. So it actually has the head tracking and whatnot. So where he's looking actually is animated. Of course, he's being very stoic here and not doing anything. There you go, he's looking around now. So, yeah, so this stream was kind of a walk you through it, kind of show you where it's at, how things work, so you guys all don't get the mod and just go, okay, I have no idea how to use this. But the good news is I'm going to spool up. We've prepped 5 dedicated servers, which will probably crash the moment I hit the go button on the mod. And who knows what will happen. But we have 5 servers that I'm going to bring online right now with 24 slots each. And let's see here. Where are they? I have to find them in all my windows. And hopefully they don't toast. What's going on there? So one of them is the one we're flying in right now. And we're going to bring those all online right now. And Max, if you'd like, if Max is listening, Max, you are, hold on, let me jump back in here.
Channel switched.
Coming back in. Hey, Max. Max, you there?
Yeah.
Let's pull the trigger. I'm going to bring all the servers online right now. Let's get all the links sent out. And let's see if we can bring all this dedicated server fun to its knees.
Okay. I'm in the process of making the announcements for the servers.
Perfect.
You are going to have them named the same way that you gave them to me.
Yes. So everyone, you're going to look in the multiplayer server list. All you need to do is search for VNAO. And there will be 5 servers. There are 2 servers running the mission that you just saw me demo right now. And that holds 24 pilots each. And God help me, it's probably going to not last too long. But we wanted to get servers up there that people, could jump in and play with immediately. We will have 1 server running this mission, but it will be dusk going to night if you wanted to do some night flying. And we have 2 servers that are coming online in Nevada. So this is Caucasus. So everyone should be able to jump in here no matter what. Unfortunately, you will need the super carrier because this is super carrier.
User disconnected from your channel.
But I realized I was keying my mic. Sorry. So, and then 2 of these missions will be at the Nevada site bomb range. We have a bomb range mission set up that was graciously authored by Icefire, who's another kind of sister wing. And he put this together for us, and there are waypoints in there to fly out to the range, and it will give you target information so that you can score all your hits and you can compete with your buddies. Now, the one thing I ask, and I know I'm asking the internet this, is there are a couple planes in these missions that are Tomcats and 18s. And the reason they're in there is because if you have a rumble system like a butt kicker or a sim shaker or something, to get that working on this plane, you need to go into one of those planes first and then exit that plane just to get it initialized. And then when you get into the 45, it should pick it up and you should have force feedback in your butt for G's and landings and all that kind of stuff. So that's the good news, is that stuff should be working, but I kind of ask you that we're basically just going to get these servers up right now so that people can jump in and kind of play with the plane. But beyond that, let's not be jerks about it and kind of cause issues, because everybody's going to be here. Eventually we'll pull these servers down and kind of sanitize them a little bit more. All right, so let's start this server. And I'm going through the list while I'm trying to talk here of bringing these servers online. And we'll see how this goes. It is not April 1st. We've been working our butts off. So there are a lot of people that are behind the scenes here. Mad Max is the one doing all the PR stuff right now, who's the partner with me at VNAO Sim, that has, worked tirelessly to, make this happen. We've got Nibbilot, who's worked his butt off doing engineering code. We've got the test crew, Bingo, Maddie, Whisper, Vex. I'm going to miss a lot of people here. Bo, who was our demo flight lead for our air shows. Let me see if I can. Creature, Bozo, Happy. There's a lot of people that I'm going to miss here. But yes, the link is in our Discord. It's going to be on Facebook. It's going to be on the forums. It's going to be blasted everywhere. And I will put it at the end of this, and maybe somebody can paste that into the chat, who has access to the chat right now, because I can't do it from the streaming system. Can somebody paste the link? Can somebody paste the link to the mod into the streamer chat or the stream chat, please? I don't have access to the chat. And hopefully you guys won't kill the link, because it's probably getting a huge bandwidth spike right now, but I think I should be all right. I think we're good, Maddie. You could probably park the jet, and it's up to you if you want to keep flying, but I imagine these servers are going to get slammed real quick.
Yeah, I jumped out already, so it's all good. Yeah, I jumped out already. It's all good.
Cool. Thanks for your help. All right. So the 5 servers should be online. I'm looking right now. I see 4 out of the 5 coming online. Let's see what happens here. All right. Could someone also link the VNAO Discord, please?
Oh, I thought I did that already. Okay, I'll do it.
Thanks. And I'll be trying to keep eyes on the servers to see if anything happens. I will try and restart them and try and cycle them, but just bear with us. Obviously you're free to take the plane and do your own missions, your own servers with them. But we figured rather than you guys have to sit down and build a mission, whatever, you could just jump in and screw around with it here. All right. Let's start that one. I think they are all up and running. Looks like there's already people in one of them. Yeah, we just ask that no PvP at this point. Let's just let everybody come in and kind of experience it and kind of figure out what it's about. Like I said, the reason the 14s and the 18s are in a couple of the missions are so that people can initialize their rumble features, and that's it. I should probably have pulled all the weapons off of them, but that's my mistake, and most likely what I'll do here is I'll redo the missions and strip all the weapons out. But just be cool about it. I mean, everybody here is excited about the plane, so...
Have you stopped streaming?
No, I'm still streaming, but I think we could probably wrap it up because I think I've got all the stuff I have out there now. So what I'll do is I'm going to wrap the stream up, guys, because it looks like it got really quiet for some reason. I wonder what that could be. But if you have any questions,
interesting.
feel free to... this is the reason why we waited till the end to maybe release the fact that we were doing this. But anyway, yeah, thanks for coming, and
Great job,
we
Mark.
will see you in the plane. See you.